Hello, this is Ramirez with Tidewater Renaissance Fighting Arts, and I had put a picture of this up on the HEMA Alliance group, and I had so many responses waiting for the review on it. I figured I'd go ahead and review it. Consider this more a first impressions because I haven't gotten to spar with this yet, but I have gotten to practice solo drills, and I will compare it to its other. And what do I mean by that? Well, this is the Blackfencer steel Montonte. It does have the Zweihander guard. This here is the Blackfencer Zweihander, but really it has the Montonte guard. This is as close as you get to Blackfencer's steel version. If you order Blackfencer's Montonte, it's a different sword, it's a different cut, it's a little shorter. I consider this Blackfencer's Montonte because, as you can see, in comparison to the steel generation, it's the same sword design, same sword cut. So even though in the description I'll say Zweihander and I might put in Montonte, this is officially, if you try to order it from Blackfencer or SoCal Swords, this is considered the Blackfencer Zweihander, but it really is the steel generation. This is considered their Montonte. So I will be referring to it as a Montonte. A little bit of background information on it. This Blackfencer Montonte is a little over 66 inches in height. It is approximately 2,200 grams, so it's just under 5 pounds. It does have a steel guard, which is shaped very similarly to the steel guard from the Blackfencer steel version. You can see some of it has a little bit more of a rough edge, but overall, I've heard complaints about sharp edges, and I can take this glove off and assure you there aren't the sharp edges that were on previous models. So I'm really happy about that. I'll bring it up to your attention. You can kind of see the guard itself. You can see some of the milling in there. It does have a steel pommel, and if I was critical of it, and maybe I'll bring it back up so you could see, it has some rough edges on the finish on the plastic, so you can see on the horns there. And you might be able to see a little bit of it on the blade. And also when it came, I don't know if you'll be able to see this, it kind of looks, my girlfriend said it was kind of marbled, but it has some kind of dirt on there. The finish was just not as clean as some of the other Blackfencer equipment that I've gotten. And it kind of came that way. But when she said it had a marbled look to it, I was like, okay, I can live with that. As far as it being a very big and fairly thick sword, one of the nice things about it that I was most concerned about is the flex. So it can actually flex. It's not terribly light, but it has that. It's not going to just jam in. And that, to me, was very important. The flex is actually comparable to the flex on a steel Montonte. So if I turn them and I put the same pressure, they can actually both flex. This one flexes a little earlier than this one, but it does flex, which is kind of important. One of the things that I also really like about the Montonte is the Parryhaken, because I get why other Montantes, they kind of have a little flip out here, and that's about as much of the teeth or horns that you get. The problem is it won't stop a blade. Whereas, if something rides down here, it's actually going to get stopped. So those Parryhaken are really going to be used to their true purpose. I get that one of the other versions of Montonte have these little tiny little teeth, which are based off the historical example, but the downside is, if you have a steel blade and you have these tiny little teeth, it'll stop it. If you're using a synthetic though, they tend to bounce over. These will genuinely catch that incoming blade, and that's something that really kind of excited me about getting these. So once again, this is kind of my initial impressions of the Blackfencer Synthetic Zweihander, though as I said, it's closer to their Montante, and it does have the Montante style guard. So I will put a recommendation. It's $145 on SoCal. It's slightly less on Blackfencer, but you have to account shipping. In the United States, SoCal charged me $80 to ship this. I did buy two, so it was $80 for both of them. I don't know. I know they said it was an extra charge, so I don't know if the $80 is the same they'd charge you for one as they would charge you for two. But it was all in one box, so I probably expect, even though it costs $145, that you're going to be paying closer to about $220 for it. So that's just kind of a heads up I think you should know. Blackfencer coming from there to the United States is going to be probably more expensive. So I would say if you can get it through SoCal. The downside is I think SoCal is currently sold out, so you'll have to wait for their next shipment. If you're ordering from Blackfencer, be aware it is, I believe, 6 to 8 weeks to get a synthetic, because they do make them by request. They don't have them in stock. So that's my initial thoughts and comments about the Blackfencer Synthetic Montonte. I'll try to do a more full review after I've gotten a chance to use it a little bit more, but I know people were eager about it. There are no reviews for it currently, so I figured I would give you my review. All right, once again, this is Ramirez with Tidewater Renaissance Fighting Arts. I will leave links for both how to get this Montonte and about our club in the description below. Thank you and have a great day.